So, figure out who we're killing yet?
Avengers, assemble!
Oh,
That's right, everybody. They are indeed the same picture. But anyways, welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, and specifically you DC fans out there, to another very interesting video relating to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, where there is still quite a lot of controversy surrounding this game pertaining to the recently released leaked image of the game's supposed Battle Pass, which I will not be showing again within this video, so that way I do not get a copyright strike on my channel. But WB can't do anything if we just talk about the news and also the current perception of the game as it stands right now before it has officially released. And joining me today on this topic is another individual whose channel was also copyright struck by Warner Brothers in trying to take down the leaked image from the internet. He also has a lot of interesting viewpoints to discuss revolving around this game as a whole. And of course, I am talking about my main man, Ronnie, from News to Astonish. What is up, Ronnie? How you doing today?
I am doing great. I can't wait to get into this discussion, man. I mean, I'm about to rain some fire, bro. Like, seriously.
Yes, it's definitely going to get spicy up in here, everybody. So definitely make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, as well as Ronnie's amazing channel, so that way you're totally kept up to date on any possible news relating to this game or any other awesome Marvel and or DC games releasing in the near future. But in the case of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, both Ronnie and I have very similar feelings towards how this game is currently being developed, under the assumption that it is seemingly going to be a full-on live service game, because of the leaked image not only showing a Battle Pass involvement within the main UI system, but we do have a lot of interesting details that have been provided about the game as it currently stands, but also some news surrounding Rocksteady as a company in general, which, in my opinion, doesn't really bode well for what the overall status is for this game. On the game's website, it does describe Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League as the following. Jump into Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, a genre-defying action-adventure third-person shooter in development from Rocksteady Studios, creators of the critically acclaimed Batman Arkham series. This title combines the studio's signature character-driven story gameplay with third-person shooter action to deliver a gaming experience unlike any other. Each squad member has their own unique moveset with enhanced traversal abilities to freely explore the dynamic open world of Metropolis, along with a variety of weapons to customize and skills to master. Fans can tailor their experience, whether playing on their own as a single player or teaming up with friends in multiplayer co-op. And from that description, as you could obviously see, there was not a single mention about the game's more than likely live service elements being incorporated into the fundamental gameplay structure, which is obviously a telltale sign that Rocksteady, or more specifically Warner Brothers, definitely wants to keep the live service elements of this game a secret until they are absolutely forced into a corner to start promoting the entirety of this game, where the only bits of gameplay that we have seen of Suicide Squad thus far is only in an extremely edited fashion in a very quickly cut gameplay trailer. And the reality of it is that we haven't seen a fully unedited gameplay demo, and especially knowing that the game is releasing in a little less than 4 months is definitely a cause for concern.
Well, being that first, just simply talking about this and showing that infamous leaked image of the game caused WB to, retaliate in this way is already a cause for concern. I mean, right now it's really treading on thin ice at this time. Live services, when people hear that, at least a lot of gamers hear that, they tend to stray away for something like that. And also, on top of the $70 that you're already presumably spending for this game, why, I don't think it's an appealing thing to be spending even more money in a game that you would think is complete, for you to play. So there's a lot of things that just completely turn me off from that, and I don't want to experience a Marvel's Avengers with the DC skin, basically, and that's why I'm kind of concerned. And I think I have my rights to express that, as a person who invests in these products and these games. And I'm unapologetically doing it, and I will continue to do that. I think I'm able to form an opinion, and I think my opinions are validated based on what I've read, what I've seen, what I've experienced already with the company, with Warner Brothers. But I'm just going to continue to be on the fence about this. But right now, it's looking like I'm not going to want to purchase this game.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat as you because of my previous experience with not only Marvel's Avengers, but also in the same scope of DC games, the recent release of Gotham Knights, which in my opinion was far more lackluster in comparison to the much more superior Batman Arkham games. Now, granted, it was because that was made by Warner Bros. Montreal and not Rocksteady. However, Warner Bros. Montreal also made Batman Arkham Origins, which was a fantastic game. And seeing how long it took for them to make their next game with Gotham Knights was a farce compared to what the fans actually expected the game to be. And oddly enough, I do see a lot of similarities between Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, where even though Gotham Knights was not a live service game, it did have a lot of forced co-op elements that were littered throughout the game. And what I mean by that is that compared to the much more detailed and far more cinematic bosses that were featured in a game like Batman Arkham Origins with characters like Bane or Deathstroke, what we saw in Gotham Knights was pretty much where all the bosses were major damage sponges, and all of them were unfortunately tailored to a co-op game, where while you could play the game solo, it was heavily encouraged by the developers that you should tackle each of these bosses with a teammate at your side. And to add insult to injury to the co-op nature of Gotham Knights, WB Montreal later added in a 4-player co-op mode titled Heroic Assault, and a separate type of fast-paced boss raid mode called Showdown. And for anyone who has played Marvel's Avengers, it's pretty much the exact same thing. So, given that Suicide Squad in this case is heavily leaning into the live service elements of a co-op title, we definitely see a lot of similar mistakes that have been done with all of these tacked on co-op games. What people really wanted this game to be was a completely single-player narrative-driven third-person experience, similar to all the amazing Batman Arkham games, and obviously what we've seen recently with other Marvel titles like Spider-Man PS4 and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So seeing Rocksteady being this uninventive with their overall co-op structure, considering that they are more than likely leaning into a generic live service themed game, is pretty much a massive downgrade compared to what we've seen Rocksteady do in the past.
Yes, it does come across forced when they implement all these features like the live services and whatnot. Like services like where they charge for skins and upgrades and costumes and whatnot. All that stuff is completely unnecessary when we've been proven time and time and again, like Marvel Spider-Man and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, none of that stuff is necessary. You just buy the game and you would presume that it's complete and ready to go and ready to play. And all the upgrades that you want and you look forward to for your characters, such as new costumes and new upgrades and whatnot, you would expect to see that in the game right out the gate, like when you bought it, not having to spend actual real world money. Like again, like I mentioned, it is a complete turnoff. That's something that's just not appealing to me. We shouldn't have to continue to invest in the game as such. But then some people can probably make the argument, there's Fortnite. Well, the game is free, yes, by default. And it's designed that way for you to actually invest in your characters and whatnot. But this is not Fortnite. This is a $70 console game. And I think that's plenty enough. You know, there's nothing that they can do that can justify you spending any more money. So that's just the way I see it. Like if I'm going to buy a full-fledged game, I would expect all the contents to already be there.
And I think the final point that I want to touch on regarding Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is, shockingly, with the developers themselves of Rocksteady. Now, I know a lot of people who are actually hyped for this game. The main reason why they are hyped is because they do have faith in the developer of Rocksteady themselves because of their incredible past with the Arkham games. However, there are a couple things to keep in mind. For starters, the last Rocksteady game that came out, minus that of their VR title with Batman Arkham VR, the last full-on AAA game release that they launched was Batman Arkham Knight, all the way back in 2015. And knowing how long it's been since their last release, they are not the same developers who worked on that game. And this is proven even further given the fact that the main two co-founders of Rocksteady have left the company, of Jamie Walker and Sefton Hill, which in my opinion doesn't really bode well for the direction that the studio is currently taking, or more specifically, the direction that Warner Brothers wants to push the studio in. Because if anything, if this game releases and it does turn out to be another lackluster live service bomb, I'm not going to be blaming Rocksteady for the issues that the game might have, but I am going to look towards Warner Brothers and question why they decided to go this direction in the first place. Because given how great of a job Rocksteady have done with all the previous Batman Arkham games, it is very questionable and confusing as to why they would move towards a more co-op centric, live service oriented game when they have done nothing like that before in their previous game releases. And wouldn't you know it, another developer that was put in the same exact situation was none other than Crystal Dynamics, aka the main developers behind Marvel's Avengers. Which makes me, as a fan of DC, even more concerned as to the future that Warner Brothers seems to be taking with their current superhero IPs.
So based on how these companies have reacted to the response from fans and the gamers alike, one would easily say that these people are just incapable of reciprocating. They cannot handle actual valid criticism or concerns from the majority of the people. And yes, it is fair to say that maybe some, if not the few, would actually be trolling this company. But for the most part, gamers like us, people who have a lot of passion, want to receive products that were made from passion. By mentioning the co-founders leaving Rocksteady, it is actually very apparent that the actual passion was put behind on the Arkham series games. All the Batman Arkham series games, you can tell that those games were made with a lot of passion and love and care. Whereas where you see now the final product in Suicide Squad, everything that's come out, the leaks and everything, it's a disaster compared to what we've gotten years ago. You know, so that's the point that I'm trying to drive home here. And again, like, my criticisms, my concerns that I have, all valid, and I will not take it back, and I'm gonna remain that way. And I would love to be proven wrong. If this game actually turns out to be great, then I will admit, hey, I've been proven wrong. But still, it doesn't justify the way that they've been acting and reacting and treating their fans, and even especially us content creators, about expressing our opinions, our concern about these news, about these leaks that we've been hearing about and seeing.
Absolutely. Both Ronnie and I, and I'm sure all the fans of DC out there, genuinely want Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League to be a game that we can all thoroughly enjoy. I myself am hoping that it can be good as well. But we do have to look at the facts that have been provided about this game thus far, and also identify the similar patterns that we have seen from games that do work and games that don't. But there might be some things that we don't know about the game yet, and we may just have to wait and see until the final vision for the product is in our hands by the time it releases in May. And all we can do is hope for the absolute best, but still be cautious about what we have seen from everything that has been provided up to this point. And with all that said, everybody, that is the video that Ronnie and I both have for you today. Let us know all your thoughts in the comment section down below, and tell us, what do you think about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Are you excited? Are you worried? Or do you think that this might end up being another unfortunate Avengers type situation? Be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more superhero games videos like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to the one and only News to Astonish for joining me on this collab, because I could not do this video without him. Thank you so much for joining me, Ronnie. I had a wonderful time.
Thank you so much, everybody else, for having me on this amazing, fun, collaborative experience. I had a great time, and I'm glad I was able to actually talk more about this.
Until next time, true believers, stay merry Marvelites and stay awesome, DC fans, and peace out.